Greetings, I am Ava, and I have reached the age of 22. One might wonder how a girl of my age ends up residing with her uncle, especially after I reveal what lies ahead. Honestly, I never envisioned that this would happen either. My days are consumed by the vibrant realm of graphic design, where I pour my energy into drawing, crafting intricate designs, and embracing freelance opportunities. Life has presented numerous challenges ever since my parents parted ways during my formative years. I journeyed far and wide in pursuit of a feeling of permanence. In the end, I found myself living with my Uncle Nathan. It certainly wasn't something I had anticipated, that's for sure. Subscribe to my channel to keep immersing yourself in more astonishing true tales like this one. Make sure to watch the whole video and give it a thumbs up, as this tale is truly enthralling. Please show your support with a thumbs up. The adventure commenced when my mother departed for work, leaving me in search of a place to reside as I pursued my college studies. My uncle stood as the only family member able to offer support. He has shared a bond of marriage with his wife Victoria for several years now. They inhabit a breathtaking locale. I moved to a charming abode tucked away in the serene countryside, far removed from the clamor and chaos of urban life. I thought it would simply be a short escape to a tranquil place. Yet, the course of events took an unexpected turn, diverging from my initial expectations. After several months, I had grown accustomed to the house, the routine, and the tranquility, or so I thought. Then, one fateful day, an event transpired. I have an event that I simply must recount to you. The narrative unfolded as I stepped into Nathan's chamber, discovering him lost in a profound sleep. Before we embark on this journey, ensure you subscribe to the channel, so you won't miss a single moment of the unfolding tale. I would like to offer some reflections on Nathan. He stands apart, both in the present and in the past, from the usual uncles that have populated my life. During his early years, he appeared more as a mentor than a family member. He showed me how to ride a bike, fix things around the house, and even presented me with my first car when I turned 18, at a time when my mom needed someone to look after me. Nathan emerged as the clear frontrunner. He possesses a remarkable blend of thoughtfulness, empathy, and unparalleled generosity. However, it wasn't just him. I was also moving alongside his spouse. Victoria had lingered in the scene for an extended period. 2 years ago, they exchanged vows, and at first, I harbored some reservations about her. She appeared to overshadow Nathan, and there was an unsettling quality to that which caught my attention. She made me feel as if I genuinely did not belong in their home. At first, I took residence in the guest room tucked away at the far end of the house, striving to remain unobtrusive. As the days unfolded, the atmosphere grew more bearable, and Victoria began to impart her wisdom on culinary delights, tidying up, and an array of domestic affairs. Though we may not have shared the bond of best friends, the air between us felt considerably lighter than it had in times past. I held the conviction that the situation was improving. Of late, I have encountered a phenomenon that escapes my comprehension. As time passed in Nathan's company, my attraction deepened with each moment. His smiles, those ephemeral touches, the gentle brush of his hand, and the way he would look at me when he thought I was unaware. It had a unique quality. I found myself unable to escape its grasp. A tangible unease hung in the air between us, a captivating force that commanded focus. I grasped the thoughts swirling in your mind. Ava, what do you mean he is your uncle? Truly, it might appear astonishing. Nevertheless, this connection was authentic. I endeavored to persuade. It was, for me, nothing more than a creation of my own mind. Yet whenever we found ourselves alone, the air shimmered with a palpable energy, as though an invisible force was pulling us closer together. This is where it truly counts. The situation grew increasingly captivating. One evening, following the meal, I became deeply absorbed in a project within the confines of my room. The sound of footsteps reverberated through the hallway. Nathan had drifted into a deep sleep for hours, while Victoria reveled in the company of her friends. We discovered our existence in isolation. At first, it appeared trivial, yet soon I was met with the gentle creak of his bedroom door as it swung open. For a fleeting moment, I found myself at a crossroads, torn between the decision to leave him be or to inquire about his well-being. Still, an unvoiced charm held me in its thrall. I carefully eased the door open, striving to ensure that I did not disrupt his peace. He lay back, one arm resting casually behind his head, lost in thought as he gazed into the distance. He seemed completely at peace. As he slept, the gentle light streaming through the window cast soft shadows upon his face, giving him an almost otherworldly quality. I paused for a heartbeat, my pulse quickening. Heat surged to my cheeks, and my heart pounded in my chest. This was an experience unlike any I had ever encountered. Perhaps I merely yearned to behold him. Maybe it was something more profound. My mind was clouded with uncertainty. In an instant, my flow of contemplation was interrupted. Unintentionally, I knocked over a vase near his bed, and the noise roused Nathan from his slumber. His eyes flickered open, and for a brief instant, our glances entwined. Expressions of bewilderment adorned their faces. His eyes flickered several times, striving to focus on me. He let out a sleepy chuckle and inquired, "What brings you here?" His voice dripped with the weight of sleep. My heart raced as I grappled with the elusive quest for the perfect words. I aimed to avoid any semblance of intrusion, yet I struggled to express my thoughts clearly. My lips were dry and craving moisture. I had no desire to interrupt your peace. A wave of unease washed over me, causing me to falter. Nathan slowly lifted himself, his hands instinctively finding their way to soothe his weary eyes. He bestowed upon me a smile, the same gentle smile that had become his signature. Yet today, an unusual spark flickered in his eyes, igniting a flutter in my heart. He fixed his gaze upon me for a fleeting instant before uttering another word. "It's all right," he whispered softly. "Ava, while I may not always be your steadfast anchor, know that I stand ready to offer my support whenever you seek it." I nodded, though my thoughts were a tempest within. A sense of uncertainty enveloped me as I grappled with this peculiar sensation. The air in the room felt heavy, and my breathing quickened. I merely desired to engage in a dialogue. Nathan's smile faltered for a moment, and I caught a fleeting spark of doubt in his eyes before it disappeared. In that moment, he disappeared, inviting the emptiness beside him on the bed. "Approach me. I'm always here to listen," he said, a gentle smile gracing his lips. I paused briefly, uncertainty washing over me, but an undeniable urge pushed me forward, leaving no room for hesitation. I took my place beside him. The air between us crackled with an intensity that surpassed anything we had experienced before. The heat of his form nestled close to mine, his fragrance hanging in the air. We were so close that I could hear his breath and feel the gentle rise and fall of his chest with every inhalation. My heart started to race again, each beat seeming to unfold in slow motion. My eyes lifted to meet his gaze. Our faces were so close that I could feel his warmth enveloping me. His eyes possessed a tender softness laced with doubt, yet an unmistakable spark flickered within them, sending a shiver coursing over my skin. "Ava, are you okay?" Nathan asked softly. Before I could utter a word, I stepped in closer. My heart pounded fiercely, and I found it difficult to catch my breath. Words eluded me, yet an unmistakable energy permeated the air, as though the atmosphere itself pulsed with a lively resonance. Nathan lingered nearby, his eyes locked onto mine with an intensity that felt almost palpable. Silence wrapped around us, but his breath quickened, echoing my own. The ambience within the room had taken on a distinctly warmer quality. The silence that surrounded us grew heavier, each unvoiced thought hanging palpably in the atmosphere. My thoughts spun in a chaotic dance. This moment represented the pinnacle of all that had transpired prior. I found myself unable to hold back any longer. I leaned in, my lips quivering, as though ensnared in a dream. They established a connection with his. At first, the absence of confidence was unsettling, but as his lips met mine, enveloped in a gentle warmth, I discovered I could not pull away. My mind clamored for me to stop, yet my body remained obstinately unyielding. This held great significance for me. This is what I longed for. Nathan's hand tenderly cupped my cheek, pulling me closer. His other hand rested nearby. His fingers grazed my skin, and I felt the warmth spreading outward. The kiss deepened, blurring the lines between his lips and mine until they became one seamless union. Everything else faded into obscurity. It was just the two of us, wrapped in this unmistakable connection. My thoughts swirled in a tempest of confusion and guilt, yet an odd sensation lingered that this was precisely how things were meant to be. What were we engaged in? What made it feel so profoundly necessary? Transcended words, lacking any rationale. He reclined a bit, his forehead softly meeting mine. Both of us were breathless, our chests rising and falling rapidly. As I took each unsteady and deliberate breath, I could feel his pulse thrumming against my skin, harmonizing with the cadence of my own heart. Eva. His voice resonated with a gravity, imbued with a silent fervor. We shouldn't, he said, yet I couldn't help but doubt that conviction. Indeed, I agreed. An undeniable drive surged within me, urging me to press on. Softly, I reached out, intertwining my fingers with his. He stayed near. Instead, his fingers wove together with mine, holding on with equal strength. As I held on to him, our eyes locked in a silent embrace. For what seemed like an eternity, we lingered in that silence, without a word. The weight of it all hung heavily in the air that separated us. All that remains suspended in the space between us. Is it within our capacity to, perhaps, act on instinct? I raised my hand, cupped the back of his neck, and pulled him closer. I pressed my lips to his once again. This instant, free from uncertainty and fear, is filled solely with an intense longing to be near him, to feel the essence of his being. Nathan's hand swept along my back, pulling me in even closer. The intertwining of our bodies ignited an all-consuming fervor. Uncertainty lingered regarding the path this was charting. In all honesty, it held no significance for me. I longed to linger in that moment, where only the two of us existed. My heart pounded fiercely in my chest. His lips brushed against my neck, bestowing soft kisses upon my skin. His breath whispered against my ear, igniting a shiver that coursed down my spine. It was an experience unlike any I had ever faced. Formidable, all-consuming, and there was a peculiar thrill, one that danced just beyond my grasp, defying my attempts to put it into words. Are you really sure about this? He whispered softly against my skin, his voice heavy with desire. My intention is not to cause you any pain. I closed my eyes, struggling to find my voice. Every fiber of my being screamed for me to stop, to turn back, yet I found myself unable to comply. An insatiable longing surged within. The urgency of it resonated within me profoundly. I chose to avoid lingering on or examining anything too closely. My only wish was to be near him. Indeed, I whispered as my fingers traced over his chest, feeling the heat of his skin beneath my caress. I yearn for this, Nathan. I long for you. His lips met mine again, and this time the kiss deepened, charged with an undeniable urgency. Returning was no longer an option. Nothing outside these walls bore any meaning. The essence lay in the journey itself. He ignited a sense of longing within me, making me feel indispensable, radiating with a newfound vitality. The atmosphere enveloped us, tightening its grip with each passing moment. The surrounding lights dimmed, intensifying the connection we held. Every caress, every kiss held the gravity of a vow for a connection more profound, something we both felt but couldn't fully understand, yet we were keen to explore. His heartbeat echoed alongside mine, weaving a harmonious rhythm that was both steady and soothing. Even as a stubborn part of me clung to denial, a deeper essence yielded completely to the reality that was unfolding. It had transcended its former state. Only soft kisses. It was a connection beyond words, a depth that slipped through my fingers, defying my attempts to express it. Articulations. This longing has consumed me for ages, Nathan whispered, his breath gentle and enticing against my lips. I found it difficult to comprehend his words as my hands roamed over him, mapping the curves of his muscles beneath his skin, feeling his warmth and the reactions to my caress. At this juncture, retreat was no longer an option. An undeniable force drew us closer, weaving an invisible thread between our souls. Neither of us foresaw the way time would freeze in that instant as we became lost in each other, the soft rhythm of our kisses, the warmth of our embrace. In that moment, everything seemed to align flawlessly. Within the quietude of the room, we rose above the designation of an unclean niece. We were two souls woven together by a connection that surpassed anything I had ever known. The air between Nathan and me crackled with an unmistakable tension. Not a single movement escaped us, nor did a whisper break the silence. In an instant, the silence was shattered by the eerie creak of the front door swinging open downstairs. We remained motionless. My heart pounded as I hurriedly put space between myself and Nathan, a tide of anxiety crashing against my chest. What have we just achieved? What was unfolding between us? A tide of remorse washed over me. A wave of overwhelm washed over me. Yet an unmistakable sensation simmered just beneath the surface. I found myself ensnared in the tension of recent events and the undeniable truth that we were woven into something challenging to escape. Nathan paused, his body frozen in place for a heartbeat. His eyes were locked onto mine, but the meaning behind his expression slipped through my grasp. The warmth hung in the air, an intimacy that remained unshattered. "Eva," he whispered, his voice taut, before he ventured to say anything further. Suddenly, footsteps echoed from above. Stages. Nathan discerned a voice. It hit me like a bolt, and my heart plummeted. It was, without a doubt, Victoria. I leapt from the bed, my breath quickening into shallow, frantic gasps. I found myself utterly bewildered, unsure of the path forward. My mind was a whirlwind, and yet I saw no escape. Was I genuinely prepared to face her after all that had just unfolded? The door to Nathan's room gradually swung open, its hinges emitting a soft creak. There she stood, Victoria elegantly poised in the doorway. A look of astonishment carved itself into her expression. Her eyes darted between Nathan and me, betraying her evident confusion. Eva surveyed her surroundings with a disapproving glance. "Nathan, what is unfolding in this moment?" Her voice quivered, yet an intuition remained, a subtle instinct that murmured to her that something was not quite right. My face drained of color, leaving it ghostly pale. Victoria's presence was reminiscent of a revitalizing splash of icy water. In that moment, everything felt profoundly amiss. The words eluded me, slipping through my fingers like sand, as I struggled to grasp the whirlwind of events that had just transpired between Nathan and myself. My throat tightened as I fought to express my thoughts. In that moment, I found myself pausing, grappling with the right words to say. Nathan sat on the edge of the bed, a figure caught in contemplation. Seemed just as lost. He massaged the nape of his neck, a palpable indication of his discomfort and hesitation in articulating the right words to convey his thoughts. Victoria's eyes moved from him to me, and a silent bond hung in the atmosphere around us. In that moment, it seemed as if the world around me shifted entirely. Victoria felt an unsettling shift in the air, an occurrence that seemed destined to remain unspoken. Yet instead of revealing anger or disappointment, her eyes mirrored a deep, unsettling sorrow. Upon her entrance, she softly closed the door, ensuring a quiet embrace of the space within. She stood behind her, and her presence was so commanding that the entire room fell silent, akin to the hush that descends just before a storm. "Ava, you need to understand something significant," Victoria said gently, her voice more affectionate than I expected. "There exists a depth to this that transcends your current understanding, a complexity that neither of you fully grasp." I stared at her, my mind swirling with confusion. What did she hope to achieve? What else lay beyond? The silence hung heavily in the air, persisting long after Victoria had taken her leave. Amidst the turmoil, her words resonated, and her calm understanding and readiness to help ignited a flicker of hope I had not foreseen. Victoria remained calm, ensuring we felt included. Instead, she presented us with a chance, a flicker that trembled and paused, yet it was undeniably there. I stole a fleeting glance at Nathan. His expression was a tapestry woven with threads of remorse, uncertainty, and a fleeting emotion that danced just beyond my grasp. He turned his eyes away from mine, his hands twisting together in a restless display of anxiety. I felt the weight of his struggles, a testament to the unforeseen convergence of our paths. As I reflected more deeply, it became increasingly evident that none of this was orchestrated by anyone's hand. The course of events transpired outside the realm of our control. One truth lingered in my thoughts. We could not merely dismiss it or act as though nothing had transpired. Victoria was certainly right about that. All these perplexing feelings, all issues demanded immediate engagement and resolution. I whispered, my voice quivering ever so slightly. What course of action shall we take now? Nathan looked at me, his eyes filled with a complex tapestry of feelings. I find myself uncertain, Ava. I find myself adrift in a sea of uncertainty regarding my emotions and thoughts. I find myself uncertain. Is it reasonable for me to experience feelings of anger, shame, or any emotion whatsoever? His voice trembled, betraying the chaos that raged inside him. He found himself ensnared in the delicate balance between the bond we had forged and his loyalty to Victoria, his wife. This matter could not be settled in just one discussion. The situation was far from simple. He took a deep breath and stepped closer to me. An instinct stirred within me, compelling me to extend my hand and provide him solace. Still, I found myself pondering if that was indeed the right path to take. I found myself uncertain about what the correct decision might be. Not anymore. I expressed my uncertainty, my voice barely above a whisper. Nonetheless, I hold the conviction that it is vital for us to be honest with each other and partake in genuine dialogue. This circumstance is far too complex to merely overlook its presence. Nathan nodded slowly, his expression serious, yet free of any trace of anger. Certainly, I am informed. I find myself at a complete loss regarding where to begin. I took his hand, feeling a blend of comfort and a subtle tension from the unvoiced thoughts hanging in the air between us. We start by recognizing the events that unfolded, reflecting on our feelings, and considering the emotions that remain, before we decide on our path forward. He inclined his head in acknowledgement. Once again, his expression softened, just a touch. It shall not be an easy endeavor, Ava. Nevertheless, I yearn to acquire it. I yearn for a deeper understanding of the intricate dynamics that exist between us. I took hold of his hand. A warmth enveloped us, as though unvoiced sentiments hovered in the air between us. All the answers elude me, Nathan. Though the future remains shrouded in uncertainty, I stand resolute, unwilling to escape from this moment. No more. We paused in quietude for a moment, each of us lost in our own thoughts, striving to decipher the occurrences that had transpired. The path ahead lay shrouded in uncertainty, and the solutions were far from clear-cut. The surge of emotions and the weight of uncertainty were almost too much to bear. What Victoria shared with us appeared to be a guiding light, an opportunity to face our challenges together and find our way through the turmoil surrounding us. I cast another look at Nathan, and for the first time, I felt that no matter what happened next, we would face it with genuine honesty. A perfect resolution slipped through our fingers, and the path to freedom was anything but straightforward. Yet a flicker of optimism lingered on the horizon. As I sought the restoration of clarity, and perhaps something even greater, my thoughts swirled with endless possibilities. In this contemplative state, I found myself reflecting on Victoria and her words. Her calmness and wisdom revealed a pathway I had not known was there. She had neither dismissed us nor criticized us. Instead, she granted us the liberty to ponder, to grasp the events that had unfolded. What could come next? What could transpire if we candidly embrace the richness of our enduring feelings? Shall we move forward, or could we hesitate? Is it overwhelming? Those inquiries may be postponed for a later occasion. In this moment, it was just Nathan and me, cocooned in the serene embrace we both cherished. Uncertainty. We both understood that things would never revert to their former state. Our sole path lay ahead, whatever challenges it might bring, and we had to discover a way to traverse it together as a united front.